There aren't quite words to say how your life changes when you become a Member of Parliament. For a lot of us, however, it has been that way since we became candidates because it's such an incredibly busy, full time as a candidate in the lead up to an election and in the few months post-election as well. I think for me, it's been difficult to manage that time occasionally, and I've sort of had to learn to actually book in time in my diary for myself and my family and friends. I think the thing that's been most surprising, however, is just the warmth from people in the community as I'm going about my everyday things. So if I'm just at the supermarket doing my shopping or going to grab a coffee or at Tea Tree Plaza shopping on the weekend or whatever it may be, people always wave, they always congratulate you, they always say hello and ask how things are going. And I think they really appreciate knowing that you're just doing normal things out in the community just like they are. And I think it's been incredibly humbling and incredibly warming to have so many people in the community just come over and have a chat just as I'm doing normal things out and about. Now, my diary is very busy. The office are very good in helping me manage the diary. And people often ask, what does a day look like? There's absolutely no way to describe that because every single day is so different. Weekends, there are a lot of evening events, but also community events like sports games and community club fairs and those sorts of things. Weekdays could be anything. It's very rare that there's a full day in the office just doing paperwork and emails. Often lots of meetings, whether that be out at a local coffee shop, meeting with a resident, or at the office talking with a local group. But there can also be events on in the city, meetings with industry bodies, all sorts of things going on, and every day is different, which makes it so exciting because no day is the same. There's no monotony in it. You're always meeting new people, always getting out and about, and always having the opportunity to do something different and new. So I think particularly during the election campaign, it was occasionally challenging to be so young and running for Parliament. People often question your age, and alongside that is sort of an implied question about what you have to offer and whether or not you have the experience to be their representative. But for every person that would make a question or a comment like that, there was another person who would say that they felt empowered to see a young person or a young woman in that place, and they would, mention the way that it empowered them, whether for their own children or for their grandchildren or for themselves. So I think that it's a balancing act. We know that there'll be questions, but for as many questions as there are compliments, and there are warm comments and those sorts of things as well. I think it's really important to engage with other young people and to make it very clear that there is a role for younger people in the Parliament. But at the same time, I don't want to ever take away from the fact that there is something to offer. We're not just token young people. I know myself and some of the other young members of Parliament, we're all professionals in our own way. We've all got our own experiences to offer, and it's not only about having a young voice, but it's about those different experiences that we can offer, particularly for our age group and our generation as well.